Humans have related, human to human and face to face, for thousands of years. Digitalization and high mobile phone ownership globally have radically changed communication between people, but also in healthcare. Research has highlighted the advantages of mHealth in terms of time and resources, and that it can be accessed by much of the population. But can mHealth replace face-to-face meetings?
I wanted to learn more about what happens when we replace a therapist with a program. Could it be that a failure to address the digital interaction between the sender and the user, the digital encounter, may limit the true potential of mHealth interventions to promote a healthy lifestyle?
ULRIKA MÜSSENER, an associate professor at the Department of Health, Medicine and Caring Sciences at Linköping University, was once an occupational therapist, which was pivotal in her understanding of patient interactions.
In my clinical work, it became clear that people are effective in different ways by how they encounter professionals. And the outcome of the replacement was determined by the interactions between the patient and the caregiver.
A few years later, ULRIKA had the opportunity to study this phenomenon scientifically, examining encounters between healthcare professionals and people on sick leave. After the thesis, ULRIKA continued research on workability and how encounters can be assessed and understood as a basis for interventions. Some years later, ULRIKA was recruited to a research group developing mHealth interventions. ULRIKA started to study digital interactions through text messages and found that good use of tone in the digital interaction was crucial for a positive electronic consultation. During the development of mHealth interventions for behavior change, ULRIKA realized that it is a lack of knowledge and hence an increased interest in the idea of studying the encounters that occur and do not occur in mHealth interventions, and the feelings associated with digital contact and how they might affect people's internal resources for behavioral change.
I wanted to know more about the potential of behavior change interventions. And to do that, I studied the pros and cons of communication through electronic devices, and I examined the technological features and human-like qualities for enhancing digital encounters. If we learn more about how to promote a positive digital encounter, maybe we can develop more effective interventions.
While face-to-face meetings involve interpreting the tone of voice and body language, including prosody of speech and facial expressions, some researchers believe that communication via the internet or mobile phones can facilitate interaction in different ways.
People are effective in different ways by encounters with others, regardless of medium. Examples of good qualities in human encounters are being listened to, treated with respect, showing empathy and trust. The encounters might influence how individuals are able to use their internal resources, which might influence patients' experiences of an improvement in their medical condition, and in that way lead to more effective treatment or outcomes in the rehabilitation process, and influence patients' ability to make changes to their lifestyles.
There are pros and cons of digital interactions compared with face-to-face interactions. Some claim that mHealth interventions fail in the portrayal of uniquely human-like qualities, such as empathy and respect. On the other hand, barriers regarding stigma and fears of embarrassing oneself compared to talking to a person suggest that mHealth interventions could be helpful for some people. Reviews highlighted ways developers of mHealth could personalize digital health interventions.
Here are some examples of simple technological features claimed to be best for positive digital encounters. In mHealth interventions, the therapist takes up less or no physical space, but might be more present in terms of availability. mHealth interventions might if the user requires it, offer more frequent contact compared with face-to-face. Therefore, selecting the frequency of the messages and choosing the time and day for the messages to be sent, and selecting a preferred language might affect the experiences of the intervention as more personalized. Other aspects concern the opportunity to select message content. As in face-to-face meetings, individuals seem more motivated to engage if the content or treatment is personally relevant and meaningful. Tailoring the content might also help foster the digital interactions. Using the individual's name is another way to personalize mHealth. Some experience being named as genuine, others don't. If the sender is known and written out with a name, could boost the belief that the messages were sent by a person, even if sent from an automated service. But some prefer an unmarked or anonymous sender to protect privacy. There is a risk that mHealth fails to interpret human-like qualities, but the non-human element in mHealth interventions could serve a different function to relationships with professionals. The tone is extremely important. There is a consensus across studies that the digital interactions should be polite and respectful. The tone can actually influence acceptance and participants' engagement in the intervention. A tone that is, for example, motivational, encouraging, polite, respectful, friendly, positive, supportive are highlighted as valuable.
But what's our clients' perceptions of communication with a healthcare system via the mobile phones? Previous studies show that mHealth interventions were sometimes considered more convenient, reliable, flexible, less judgmental and faster, and also that they provided more frequent support. Others perceived interacting with a healthcare provider as preferable, warmer, and as something with which they were accustomed.
As new technologies are developed, the nature of human interaction change. Nowadays, mHealth interventions targeting health risk behaviors with no human support are commonly used worldwide. Although human presence may be an important predictor of the therapeutic alliance, the experiences of such alliance may not require human presence.
The use of artificial intelligence, AI, has become a new frontier and expanding the landscape of, for example, healthcare and lifestyle, and to revolutionize the delivery of mHealth interventions. Chatbots aim to change users' behaviors through engaging in conversations and delivering information.
Chatbots can be deployed in the form of mobile apps and enable natural conversations with users by means of speech, text or both, to stimulate human face-to-face interaction. Chatbots have the potential to learn to understand individuals and can therefore be developed to deliver tailored, personalized support just in time.
The technological features, for example, the timing, personalization, amount, content used when developing chatbots, are similar to the human-like qualities intended to enhance digital encounters that we presented before.
Applying chatbots in mHealth interventions aiming to promote behavior change is an exciting area, especially for young adults due to the high use of technology and need of rapid support and information. There is a need of more user-centered research to investigate how and why young adults choose to engage with the chatbot and the emotions that occur during their use. We also need more knowledge on how to make the interaction more human-like, since that might affect the trustworthiness of a chatbot. Moving science forward, interdisciplinary collaborations are needed to continue to design effective human-to-human conversations in mHealth. Mobile phones have changed how people live their lives, see their world and interact. Communication in person and digital interaction offer their own benefits and shortcomings. There are several design considerations, both technological and human-like, that may enhance the digital encounters. Personalization of chatbots conversations is needed to increase the likelihood that young adults will use them